Hello everyone! Today I'll be using this kit from Simon Says Stamp that came out last October, and I'm so excited to show what I've made today. I'll be using the witch, the boo sentiment, the pumpkins, and the candies. I have already pre-stamped some of my images with Memento Tuxedo ink. Here you see me stamping the witch and using my mini Misty thread. I am going to put it aside for now so I can color these images. And I'll basically be using fall colors to color all these images. I'll be using my browns and greens for my leaves, oranges for the pumpkins and candy corns, yellows also for the candy corns, purples and beige for some of the candies. And what I'm basically doing is applying it, shading it off, and blending the colors together. Most of the times I start with the lighter color, but some people like to start with the darkest. Either way, it's fine. Whatever works for you. I'm no colorist. I'm just doing it for fun because I really enjoy it. Since Halloween is upon us, how do you think we're going to celebrate Halloween this year? I know not everyone does. In fact, I've noticed that in my neighborhood, every year less people are passing out candies to the trick-or-treaters. Have you noticed the same in your neighborhoods? It's a little depressing to see that the kids are not going to enjoy it much due to the precautions that we all have to take nowadays. Times are changing for everyone. Okay, so while I'm going to be coloring these images, I'm going to play some music for you. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, now I'm going to start coloring my witch, and I'm starting out with her hat. I want to give the hat a different look, and so I decided to decorate the hat and not leave it all black. I'm just giving it different colors to the whole hat just to make it more interesting. It's a lot of repetition. I'm working with the same colors as I mentioned above. Now for the witch's tights or nylons, I'm alternating the colors between the greens and my cool grays. I'm just working out between these two colors of the green family. For the booties, I'm also applying the cool grays except for the trimmings. I'm coloring them red. And you see me here going back and forth with the lights and dark grays and blending those colors out. I like the way it's turning out. I like using the gray, cool grays instead of just black. Just gives it a different tone. Now going back to the tights of the Good Witch, I'm working with the gray colors once again. I'm starting out with the lightest and working my way up to the darkest gray and going back to the light ones. For the broom, I've picked my medium brown colors, and I'll be using a mix of Spectrum Noir markers, and there are certain combos that I prefer to use, and you see me doing that here. Once I start coloring the broom handle, I'll be using my red-brown colors. I'm going back to the hat because I want to make the lines with the tip of the Sharpie marker, and the lines will be in between the colors that I made, just to separate the colors. Now for the skirt, I'm going to stick with the orange-red colors. I'm starting out with my lightest orange and blending the color out. Since I'm done with all of my coloring, excuse me, I'm stamping the spider and the word boo on black cardstock and inking it with Versamark ink by using Brutus Monroe Alabaster White embossing powder. And I'm melting it down with my heat gun, and you can see how nice the big word looks like. Here I'm going to emboss the bats using black embossing powder. I've decided to use vellum on this card, and my idea here is to have the big web stamp as my background. So I am removing any static with this anti-static powder tool, position my stamp onto my Misty, stamped it with Versamark, and heat embossed it with my heat tool. The measurement of this vellum is 5.5 by 5 3/4. The reason I made this size is because I'm going to fold the top by maybe 1/2 inch so it can go over the black cardstock that measures 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. It's almost time to start assembling my card now, and I have all of my images ready to cut out, and I'm carefully doing so. I also use my X-Acto knife to cut those areas that I can't do with my scissors. Here I'm just seeing if this is going to look good, and once I was okay with it, I'm going to use my Oxide Distress inks, Faded Jean, Wild Violet, and Black Soot Distress ink, and blend these colors out. I'm starting in the middle with Wild Violet. Next I'm going to be using Faded Jean, and on the outside with Black Soot, until I was satisfied with how it looks. I'm trying to blend these colors out to give it an even color all around it. What I'm doing now is putting all of my images onto my scene just to see how everything is turning out, just to see how I'm liking it. But one thing that was bothering me is that this witch has a half a body, and how I was going to make it look good. So I decided to die cut these branches from Honeybee to glue over the upper half of her body. So I placed all of my leaves on a blue painter's tape to ink up the tips of my leaves with Distress ink, Crushed Olive, and Bundled Sage. And this adds a lot of texture and dimension. And for the branches, I'm using Walnut Stain after I was done with the blending. So we're ready to start adhering, and I'm starting out with the leaves. I'm also adding double-sided tape to the back flap of my vellum. And I'm going to be taping it down to my black cardstock. I'm also gluing the grass. I'll be doing that soon. I'm gluing the grass to my vellum, and I'll also be gluing the witch and the pumpkins and the extra pieces of leaves, candy corns as well. Making sure that everything is on its place. Now I'm going to be gluing all the extra pieces of leaves and candy corns that I have leftovers. Here you see me putting foam tape to the back of the word boo because I want this to stand out. Remember I told you that I didn't want to have the half of the witch's body? I didn't like the branches too much for this scene, so I decided to cut a strip of paper from this 6x6 paper pack and colored it the same color as my web. And this is what I used instead. I'm now decorating my card with the spiders. I'm ready to glue this piece down in the center of my vellum, as I'm doing here. As well as the spiders everywhere, as if they are coming down. That's the look that I want to give it. From this stamp set, I decided to also use the word "to you" and heat embossed it again using Versamark ink and the same alabaster white embossing powder and my heat gun to melt this powder down. Now I'm going to tape the word "boo," centering it on my vellum. For my card base, I cut this purple cardstock to 12 by 6 inches, scoring it at 6 inches. Then I'm going to be adding some glue to the back of my black cardstock to glue it on my card base. Now I have to glue the vellum on the front of my black cardstock. The good thing is that I have plenty of space of where to add glue behind this vellum, and it's not going to be seen. And a card isn't finished until you add some shimmer to it. So for this, I'm using my Wink of Stella pens. First, I use the black pen to add shimmer to the pumpkin eyes, the witch's shoes and hat, as well as the pumpkin's mouth. Then I switch it to the clear pen to add shine to the rest of my pieces. Now, for the inside of my card, I inked up the Happy Halloween word on Versamark ink. Heat embossed it with black embossing powder. And did the same with the spider webs, but I stamped them only on two sides of my card, as you can see here in a moment. I like how the inside of my card will start to look. This finishes my card of today. I truly hope you enjoyed watching me making it as I did doing it. I'm very happy of how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and until next time.